international officers, fellow barkers, ladies and gentlemen, pray silence for the Chief Barker of the Variety Club of Great Britain, the chairman this evening, Sir Tom O'Brien. My Lord Mayor, we are met here together not as an ordinary banquet. This is no ordinary occasion. We are not meeting in a palatial restaurant or in some dignified cafe or hotel. We are meeting here, Variety International, spread from the Rockies to the North Sea and from the Panama Canal right into the north of Scotland. Variety has its members throughout the far-flung domains of the English-speaking races. And we are met tonight on the 22nd convention of Variety International on a sacred soil in an edifice which you see that has been dedicated to the cause of freedom and to liberty for nearly 1,000 years. First time that Variety has met in Britain, I want all of you to feel that our welcome to you tonight on behalf of the crew of 1036 and of the barkers of the club and of their families and friends is a sincere and genuine one. We are glad to have you. We are glad to welcome you here. We are glad to have had the convention here, and I do hope that so far you have thoroughly enjoyed your visit, and from tonight you will continue to enjoy the days that are yet ahead. The Corporation of London must be the oldest corporations. Little did any of us think, whatever part it may be, that challenged all that for centuries we have fought for. It is Lord Louis Mountbatten and men like him that will come to our rescue and defend us again. Sir, it is my Pray silence for the Earl Mountbatten of Burma, a life member of the Variety Club of Great Britain.
Mr. Chairman, my Lord Mayor, Sheriffs, Your Excellency, my Lords, fellow barkers, ladies and gentlemen. I feel extremely honoured to have been associated with the Lord Mayor in responding to the toast of the guests. Though why the Lord Mayor and I should have been chosen, I cannot think, for we are about the two most bogus guests in this room. He, because he is at home here, and I, because I am a life member of the Variety Club of Great Britain in any case. But we're nonetheless extremely grateful, and I suppose it means that we shall not be asked to pay for our dinner. Variety International has raised in the 22 years of its existence something like 14 million pounds, and the British tent is getting on towards their 300,000 pounds. I think that's a great tribute to the whole of Variety, to the international officers and to the 12,000 members. And we in the British tent are very thrilled to meet the international officers, and it was a particular thrill to me to shake hands with the man who found the original baby. You through, sir, and the fellow was in the middle of a good conversation. He'd say, "Yes, thank you, I am," and he'd be immediately cut off. Now today, some 200 children from many parts of the country enjoyed your hospitality in this very hall. Judging by the amount of noise they made on TV, the party must have been a terrific success. We in the Navy, too, have a custom of giving children's parties. Generally, our aim is the same as Variety, to look after the orphans, the poor, the sick, irrespective of color, race, or creed. Looking back into the history of the children's parties given in the Navy, I find that in the year 1637, on board the flagship, the Sovereign of the Seas, a party was given for the royal children and their friends. I don't think they can have behaved very well, because it's recorded that when they had finished drinking out of the silver goblets, they threw them overboard. Whether this was because of what had been put in the goblets or not, I don't know. Then in 1894, the Torpedo and Electrical School, which was in an old wooden hulk called the Vernon, threw a children's party at which the officers conceived the bright idea of having a tank of water full of a lot of money and a metal plate. The plate was connected to positive electric supply and the water to negative. When the wretched little children stood there and put their hands in, they got a shock. However, the 5-year-old son of an admiral who knew the trick came in what in those days was unheard of, rubber-soled shoes, and scooped the pool. Then in 1913, my wife had the privilege of receiving one of the cheques on behalf of the Shaftesbury Society, which was founded by her great-grandfather, the 7th Earl of Shaftesbury, as the Ragged School Union in 1844. This was the very first attempt to band together the little schools of the streets, and was the first organized attempt at child welfare work.
Heard after the Lord Mayor, but Mr. Chairman, my Lord Mayor, Sheriffs, Your Excellencies, my Lords, International Chief Barker, International Officers, fellow Barkers, and ladies and gentlemen. Now, that in itself, I think, is enough speech at this time of night, don't you? You know, the Chinese were very good at inventing tortures, and Jim Cruise has done very well on some of his films with some of the tortures, but I don't think there's anything quite to equal sitting down here, waiting for your turn to come to speak, especially when Wellington up there keeps on looking at you and saying, "I shouldn't." Cheques, £1,000 each, to the charities that have been nominated. To save time, I would like the young lady to present the cheques to the people who will receive them on behalf of the various charities. The first one, the first £1,000 goes to the Aberlour Orphanage. Now, the Aberlour Orphanage is open to any child in need of a home. It currently caters for 350 deprived, underprivileged youngsters and requires £30,000 a year to carry out this great work. My